Alright, what is up, Transformer fans? It's the video review of Transformers Prime Cyberverse Commander Class Nightwatch Optimus Prime. Now, he is a redeco / slight remold because he comes with new weapons of the original Commander Class Optimus Prime. And speaking of the weapons, let's take a look at those. They are the Energon, not really Energon, but the swords that Optimus has that he deploys out of his arms. The original, of course, came with his guns, and it's nice to actually get his swords now so you can have a little bit of variety here. And for many, this is going to be the main reason you pick this guy up, but I know the $8.99 price tag is a bit much for 2 plastic swords. However, I'm going to do my best to convince you that this guy is actually worth it. So I did that. If you haven't seen my Battle Tactics Bulkhead review, it's the same thing I did there. I picked both these guys up solely for the weapons, but they are amazing individual figures, and I really want to get into how they're so good. So, yeah, this is Optimus Prime. I'm going to go ahead and compare him to his original version here. You can see automatically this vehicle mode is very accurate from the front. He's got the yellow headlights and the yellow running lights up at the top, where the original Optimus just has silver detailing where it's not red. The smokestacks are a lighter color, which actually matches the silver a lot better. The only downside that's not accurate is the back here is gray instead of blue. But overall, I think that it gives him he kind of stands out. It doesn't look like an Optimus truck. It kind of looks like something you'd see on the side of the road, which is kind of neat. He could be used as a decoy for Prime or something. But overall, I think he's really neat. I like the colors a lot more than I thought I would. But, there's that. So, that's where you integrate Prime. I'll do a 360. You already saw that from the back. And then the side there. And there. Yeah, overall, the reds are about the same. If anything, the Nightwatch Prime is just a little bit lighter. Only noticeable differences is that he does not have an Autobot symbol on this side. And the wheels are the same color. Pretty much everything is the same except for the back here and the pipes and the paint on the front. So, weapons can incorporate a couple ways in vehicle mode. They can tab in here, like so. You could put them here up by the smokestacks, if you like that. You can tab them in up top like this. Excuse me if they don't fall out. Like that. Oh, you can't actually tab them in like that. These joints are really stiff. Well, you can tab them in up top. So, there's... Excuse me, golly, there's that. Just a quick side note. Here they are compared to the original guns. And, they are slightly different colored, but I think it can slide because the sword is really thin compared to the gun, which is very thick. So, overall, it kind of makes sense that this would be a darker color, where this is a really thin plastic, and the light can easily shine through it. So, transformation of this Prime is very simple, just like his original counterpart. I'm actually not going to spend too much time on it. If you want to see a more detailed transformation, please view the original Optimus Prime video. I'm going to show this, obviously, on camera, but I'm not going to go into too much detail, seeing as how I've already done it before. So, yeah, like I said, just go watch the original Prime video if you really want to see a detailed transformation with step-by-step commentary. But overall, you can kind of just watch me do it. And, yeah. So, that's good there. Okay, and then just straightening him up. And you can see here, we have, well, Nightwatch Prime in his robot mode. Very nice, and you can see that gray there on his legs, or the back of the trailer, or the back part of the truck where the trailer would attach, rather, doesn't really affect me that much here in robot mode, as it does blend in with the thighs, which are the same color plastic, fortunately. Another side note, that's kind of unfortunate, rather, that his feet are the same silver color, I believe they're the same silver color, as the original Optimus. It would be nice if they were painted to look similar to the silver plastic there that is on his legs, as you can see, but obviously we're probably not going to get that, seeing how this toy has already been released. Okay, so here I have Optimus. I just did some quick magic and transformed him behind camera. Those silvers aren't the same, alright. But you can see, yeah, it is a different color red now. It is a different color red, and this Optimus, the original, is a little bit darker, but overall, I think this Optimus looks good as well. It adds a little bit of variety in there, and let's see here, what else is notable? The blues are darker. I'd hate to... That's kind of a navy, but it's kind of sparkly, too. So that's weird. And then you also got kind of the G1 yellow detailing there on his vents, where these vents aren't painted at all. And just like with Battle Tactics Bulkhead, this guy has a lot of painted on detail to make up for the fact that he's a repaint / slight remold. So overall, you're not just getting a straight recolor. There's actually a lot of details kind of highlighted here. You could, if you recall in vehicle mode, the light bar and the lights were actually painted where these ones aren't. So this guy actually kind of pops a little bit more if you look at him side by side. However, once again, this is an inaccurate color as he's not in the show. But overall, I think he, as I said, he pops. He really does look really nice compared to Prime. And we'll do a 360 here. Optimus is leaning back a little bit. But overall, they are the same. They are the same. So, just except for some slight coloration there. Let's see here. I want to go ahead and get his face, because this is the big selling point, aside from the weapon. You can see, come on. There we go. No faceplate. This is the faceplate-less version of the head. Unfortunately, he does have yellow eyes. And just to show you what it will look like... Oh gosh, I hate doing this. I feel like I'm defacing the toys. Oh goodness, this is awful. There's a faceplateless head on that guy. I don't like doing this. And there's the faceplated head on that guy. So you can see here. Obviously, the blues are going to differ. So if you really don't mind it that much, you can swap the heads. But if you're a very nitpicky person, this is obviously going to stand out to you, and therefore you do not want to swap the heads because the colors don't match, which is a bummer. Bummer. So as I recapitate, both of these figures, I can go on to the weapons. So the swords can only be held in one way. As you can see, the handle is off center, so you're gonna only have Prime hold the swords on one hand. They are specific to his hands. You cannot swap them like you could with the guns, because there's this little thing called clearance issues that won't allow it, unfortunately. However, if you do want to be creative, you can use these as kind of like an underslung sword, like so. But other than that, it's pretty hit or miss here with his swords. But you can see they do cover his hands very nicely, and they really do look like they came out of his arms, which is really, really cool, in my opinion. So, there's that. Now, on a side note, while I prepare the original Optimus here for his swordification, if you could say that, I do believe that I'm going to use this guy as Nemesis Prime, because, well, he's got the yellow eyes like Nemesis Prime, and he looks like Prime, but he's not Prime. So, that, pretty much, I'm going to use him as Nemesis Prime, and that'll be cool, because that'll be another Decepticon. So, but yeah, you can see here Optimus with his sword and his gun. It really does a good job to complete this guy himself, and as a matter of fact, I had no problem buying this. It is very reminiscent of the, what's it called? I think it was, I can't remember, but the Optimus Prime from Dark of the Moon that came with the show accurate, or the movie accurate rather, guns and swords. You bought the repaint and it came with the accurate weapons, which feels like the same thing with this guy. It doesn't feel too bad. So overall, I'm pretty happy with getting the accurate weapons and a really neat figure that I can use somewhere in my imagination. But like I said, this guy has a lot of neat details on him, and I really enjoy him, and I feel like these guys aren't getting enough credit. I, of course, am going to be the first to admit that I didn't give them enough credit. I instantly put them down as soon as I saw them, and I just decided, you know what, I'm going to wait till these are on clearance. But I now have no problem recommending buying them at retail. So, there's one thing. I really want to show, since I did the review of the Starhammer prior to acquiring these figures, I really want to show the way these guys light up with the gimmick, or Optimus himself lights up with the gimmick. You've already seen Bulkhead's, because his review's going to go up first. But, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you what they do with the gimmick. Okay, light up time. As you can see, I've dimmed the lights. I'm just going to go ahead and try to connect this here. I'm not sure how well this is going to work, because these swords only have a peg hole on top. So I'm afraid the light's not going to carry through the blade, unfortunately, as it should. Let me see if I can... well... It's not doing it very well, unfortunately. There should have been a peg hole on the end, so the blade would have lit up very nicely, but it won't. So, the blades, unfortunately, you're not going to get a really cool light-up effect, except for right here in the handle region. But let's try Optimus himself. This plastic is a little bit lighter than the original Prime, so I have a feeling that he'll actually conduct light a lot better. So if you want to recreate that scene where he's in the mech base and they're recharging him or something, by all means, you can do so, because actually that looks very nice. Ooh, it lights up the back and all that. That's cool. So it does conduct light a lot better than the original Prime, so that's good. So this was Nightwatch Optimus Prime. Overall, the verdict is the same as with Bulkhead. I feel like he is a really good figure with a lot of bad rap, and honestly, I have no problem recommending picking this guy up at retail. A, you get the accurate weapons from the show. That's always a plus. And B, you get a really cool looking figure. And like I said, you can use him as your Nemesis Prime if you want. He's not completely accurate, but he does look different enough to stand out from Prime. So anyway, thank you for viewing this video, and goodbye.